I feel a lot of heartbreak.
Yes.
And I'm pregnant. So I'm going to try in as much as possible to make him feel what I'm feeling. So I went for him. I everything that a heartbroken person will do, I saw at him. I did everything that I needed to do because I just felt that, you know.
Let me introduce to you the new kid on the block. Mel La Vie is a new skincare range that recently launched. It is for face and for body. We deal with hyperpigmentation, anti-aging, wrinkles, natural glow. We also deal with dark inner areas. We target dark inner thighs, dark armpits, dark neck, dark elbows, dark knees, you name it. We also have a shaving combo. This shaving combo deals with ingrowns and shaving bumps. Both men and women can use this good quality product shaving range. We've got good actives in our product from glycolic acid, hyaluronic acid, kojic acid, and many more. You can contact us on the WhatsApp number that is popping on the screen, or you can reach out to us on all our social media platforms. We are here for all your skin needs. Hi everyone, welcome to O Narrative Podcast by myself, Promise Makunyane. This podcast is about marriage and family dynamics. You know, if you'd like to be a guest on my podcast, you need to write to us on the email address that is popping on the screen. Do not forget to put your number, preferably your WhatsApp number, so that we can contact you once we vet your story. Guys, today I'm sitting with one of a kind, two women, like in Bogoto, the ultimate meaning of in Bogoto is these two ladies that I'm sitting with here. However, I want to start by saying, why did you make a prayer before we started? Because I have never. We just go into it and right? We just talk. Why did you go into prayer?
No, God is our source. We are here actually to glorify God, and if it had not been for Him, we wouldn't be sitting here. So I honor the one who has made it able for us to be here.
Oh, guys, hallelujah. What's like the production? My God, production, Sister Promise. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's start by introducing you guys. Let's start by introducing the both of you. And yeah, we'll go into it after that. You can start because already you've started. You can introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Nokulunga Mushime. I am a child of God. I am a wife and a mother and what is known as a stepmom too. So yes, I end there.
And you, Baba?
Okay, thank you so much for having us. My name is Thandi Domingo. I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a stepmother, I'm what is called a baby mama. I'm a life coach, but I'm also a teacher of God's word.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is how toxic I am and how toxic the production is. When I walked in here, I was like, she was alone. So Nokulunga and Thandi. So when I walked in here, Thandi had already been here, and I was like, "Where is your sister wife?" Funny enough, apparently, even the production, they've also had the same. Where is your sister wife, guys? Are you guys sister wives? This rings. This wife title, is it from the same man? Let's clear that.
No, it's not. It's not. It's funny because when I walked in, Divu said, so where's your sister wife? Get high boss.
Guys, we're not used to this.
I'm like, no, that's the wrong word. We're not sister wives. Sister wives are married to the same person. We are not. But there is a story with the man that she married and who also fathers my child. So we are sister parents, please.
Oh, we are sister parents. Guys, you know, this story is for me, myself. I mean, I'm a stepmom. And then it's for many of you guys that are watching. And I thought it was very important. I actually met you months ago at our friends gathering. And then from there, I forgot. And I saw that you were going to, I was like, That lady, yes. And before I knew it, I got an email. I was like, yo, thank the Lord, because I was still going to forget. And these are the conversations that are being had here on my thing, and your story is one of a kind.
Yeah.
So who has the man between the both of you now? Who is the mother? Who is the... Yes, Tol. Yeah.
She got the man.
She got the man. I don't know. You know, sometimes we think marriage is the prize, and the other women are like, I'm glad they married you, actually. You are married to a problem or whatever that is. But with you guys, these are women of God, and then they are here. Nah, I'm just wretched. I'm just speaking my mind. So the conversation won't go as hallelujah as you are.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, let's have a conversation.
Yes. So you have been with the man first.
No.
No,
the man was with both of us at the same time, and we did not know. We both did not know. But now I always say, on my end, now I'm looking back with the lens of wisdom and time. I'm like, but I should have known. You know, I didn't know, but I should have known.
Yeah.
And I should have known. I'm referring to his actions, you know. He's just not that into you.
Okay.
But you think the relationship will work, and you're going to push
what
whatever it is
do.
that you need to push.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be the subservient person, not ask many questions, not look at his profile on social media.
Not
You're
look
just
at his
going to
phone.
be... Yeah. So I didn't know, but I should have known. So he was dating both of us at the same time.
Huh.
Yeah.
But was he like, did you think you were the main, or both of you thought you were the main? Or you were the main?
I know. She was the main, right? But I did not know that I did not know there was another person. So obviously I thought I was also the main, right?
Okay.
But
I'm starting with you thinking you are the main.
No,
we can't really define it because we were both dated at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can't. What would define it probably would be the events then that took place.
Yeah.
Like I was known Habo and she wasn't.
Okay.
But we only find that out after.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wasn't pushing to be known because we were only dating for I think we were 9 months, 10 months into the thing before I became pregnant. So I wasn't pushing. I only started asking questions when I got pregnant because now I have to go speak to my family. Yeah. So obviously your family must also know. And so when I saw how KG was, I was like, there's something going on here, you know. And so that's when I decided to go into my investigative mode. Yeah. I investigated and I found her. And I was like,
all along.
You know, and then I sent her a message.
Wait, on Facebook?
On Facebook, but I created a fake profile, girl. Yes, I created a whole fake profile, and then I decided to look at her. You know, you can see what this person. Maybe if I want to investigate you or want to be your friend, I'll check. Okay, Promise likes to speak about marriage, dynamics in relationships, and then I'll DM you and say, hey, about this. You know, so I saw her. She had beautiful hair. So I went and said, hey, I see hair. Where did you get this hair? And she told me, she was very graceful, you know. And then it was time Zabo mixed it then. And, you know, because this is like 15 years ago. Yeah. So WhatsApp wasn't really much of a thing. So I say to her, please give me your number, you know. And she does. She gives me her number.
That time you're still dating your guys' boyfriend?
Yes, I'm pregnant and I'm just finding out that she exists because I can see this guy. We're having conversations about going home and the conversations are going nowhere. So I say to her, because I'm trying now to figure out, does she know about me, right? So she gives me her number. We speak and then eventually I say to her, you know what, the reason I'm actually... Because she's so nice, I don't want to drag this thing on for long and cause her to think that we're talking about everything else and actually there's an issue here. So I say to her, hey, listen, I am pregnant. This is who I actually really am. I'm not that fake Facebook profile. This is who I really am and I'm pregnant and I'm dating this person. And so, yeah, I think she can take it from there.
Yes.
And then what happened to
How do you meet your man? Let's start there and you'll pick it up from when now she told you.
How I met him.
Yes. When did you guys start dating?
All right. I met him, when we were doing introduction. I didn't introduce the fact that I'm a pastor's kid, right? I'm
Pastor's
a PK.
kid.
Yeah, my dad was a pastor. So
Guys, don't drag.
Yeah,
There are pastors'
so-
kids here. Don't drag them.
So where I met him was one of the places that I shouldn't have even been there to start with.
Okay.
So in those days, at the time, it was called a street bash. So we met on the 31st of, it was actually the 1st of Jan in the AMs. And yeah, so that's where we met.
Yes.
Only started dating, I think, a couple of months after, I think in March or something like that, you know. Then, we hit it off. It's a good thing. I'm not even supposed to be dating, according to our church rules, right? So no one knows about it. But guy, I got introduced to the mom fairly early into the relationship.
How did you get introduced? Was it just like...
Church. So we were going to church. He invited me to his church.
Okay.
And then I go to church. When I get to church, I meet his mom. And she's happy. I've heard about you. I'm like, okay. Hey. Then obviously we continue with the relationship until one day on Facebook I come across a DM. How Miguel, your hair, like she said.
Yeah.
Obviously, the story goes into
WhatsApp's Mixit.
No, it was BBM. I didn't have Mixit. Yeah. Yes. And then boom, Skaka Sendaba.
How did she say it?
No, she said it. I think that's how we did not fight initially.
Okay.
Because she says, look, this is the situation. We are both with the same guy. And it's not just about me and him. There is a child involved. Yeah.
How do you take that?
Yo.
Did you think you are the only one?
Yes. And I did not see the red flags. Right?
Yeah.
Because he was always, I was even asking him, when
did this happen?
Yeah, because whenever I need you, you are available. Whenever I call you, you are available. There's never been a glitch that was very open to me or, that I could pick and say, okay, this and this.
Yeah.
But, when you hear one story,
yes,
almost like the entire thing
opens up.
Yes. So, yeah. At that moment when she tells me about it, I don't believe her, As much as I'm shocked, I'm like, not my guy.
Not my man.
This thing that we have, it's too good for him to be, doing silly stuff. So I then go into the first approach by him. He must tell me.
Yes.
And I call him. I don't even think I explained. I was like, I think I was on someone just told me that they're pregnant. And then his answer was, Ucho jwalo.
He already knew that you like...
He knew. And, but then also that comment for me was so... I found it so disrespectful because it's almost as if they are accusing me.
Yes.
Uguti, I've made someone pregnant.
Yes,
No, you are not even taking ownership after I have approached you about it, So he says that, I lost it. I lost it.
Sure.
I did.
And you, after going behind his back and telling his other girlfriend, how do you now tell him? Do you now tell him that I know about this?
Well, I'm a Christian, and I was a Christian then.
Yeah.
But I was not this Christian then.
That you are.
So I was a Christian.
A hood Christian.
A very hoochie mama Christian.
Yeah.
So I went for him. I decided I'm going to fight him. Yes. And I battled him, promised, like I felt like this guy, how could he do this, I feel a lot of heartbreak. Yes. And I'm pregnant. So I'm going to try in as much as possible to make him feel what I feel. So I went for him. I everything that a heartbroken person will do, I swore at him. I did everything that I needed to do because I just felt that, you know, because he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. So I didn't think that this guy is wasting my time or is playing us or there's other people in the picture, you know. And so, yeah, I went for him. I fought him and I told him, I know the truth. I've seen the truth. Remember when I was doing my investigation, I wasn't telling him. So I was just quiet, you know, quietly investigating, taking pictures on this day. Oh, this is why you canceled our appointment on this day because you were going here, right? So then, yeah, he also then fought back. Yeah. Right. He was fighting back as well. And then obviously, you know, when men are caught, they will tell the other woman a different story. Right, about you, etc. And so I would hear these lies. Now, because she and I were in contact, you know, so we spoke and she's like, I'm dumping him. And I'm like, no, I'm dumping him.
We're now with you.
You know, and so, and then obviously when we speak, you hear, there's no dumping him here. This person has moved.
Is in it.
in it to win it, you know. So I got mad at all of them. I got mad at him, her, the whole family, because I just felt like also even the family knew there's a situation like this and they're condoning it. So I was asking myself a lot of questions. What kind of family is this? You know, and in that moment, you're making irrational decisions because you're so angry. Yeah. Irrational decisions even about your own child, that my child is never going to be part of your life or your family's life or whatever you are having with this woman. My child is not going to be part of it.
So, how old are you then? And the reason why I'm asking how old were you then is because there could potentially be a girl out there who's more in your situation that when we are watching you guys now healed, we're just thinking that you guys were this old when you were going through those things.
No.
So how old were you?
I was 29. But let me preface that question by, or rather that response by saying that I feel like it doesn't matter because there are 40-year-olds who are sitting with wounds, right, that I had then because I had childhood wounds then. I had rejection wounds. I had daddy issues, right? So all of that was coming to play. It wasn't just about this guy. It was coming out to play in that situation. Yeah. And so you can even be 50 and still go through it and still act that way and not have better tools of responding to a situation like that. So yes, I was 29, but I mean, I've met 25-year-olds that are much more mature that have handled certain situations way better. So I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's more to do with the work that you've done on yourself. You know, and I had not done the work.
Yeah. Mama, how do you now continue after you hear this?
Yeah,
no judgment zone. All of us, you know what? We've got our stories.
Yeah. So I carry we on Operation Dump Him. I dumped him. You know?
Yes, you did.
I dumped him. But by the time I dumped him, we are already engaged.
Okay.
Wabo.
So you got the baby, you got the ring. So it's like...
Yeah, and I think that's what made me mad.
Yes.
Because when I found out, you are engaged, not just dating, you are engaged, meaning families are involved in the situation.
So, remember, my parents don't know much. They've already now, this is the first guy they're receiving a letter from, Samahadi and all that. So mom is excited. Wabo.
Yeah.
So I then come to her and I'm like, hey, Miguel, listen, it's off, you know, and I'm crying, you know, I'm broken. I'm really broken. I'm crying and she's like, and I can't really explain the whole story. I didn't explain the whole story to her. You know, there's another girl. I just said, I am done. Yeah. Because if I do, then I have to go share more stories about, and I don't want that.
And I think also a part of you do not really want this thing to end.
Yes,
so if I'm going to taint him,
you still it's not like the love goes away same day, you know. but I'm hurt.
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm thinking through hurt, but I'm also thinking, Guti, no, if you could fool me like this, I mean, and there's other stories that are coming up. No, this is not for me. You are not the guy for me.
Yeah.
I choose and I value myself way more than to have a person who will fool me again. How will I know when you're fooling me again, you know? So I go to my mom and she's like, okay, I hear you. Mntana uNkulunkulu angithi. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, Sissy, please go and talk to your God first, to your father. Then with the answer that he gives you, then you come back to me. You know, it was a moment like, okay. Handle, I don't even think I even involved God in this to start with.
Yes.
And now I'm reminded to go to my author, right? Yeah. And I go back and I go to that prayer room and to that altar. At first, I couldn't even say anything. All I could do was just cry. I'm broken. You know, I'm really shattered. After time spent with him and what I heard from him was for me to continue, you know. And remember, I'm going into prayer because I also want to be obedient to my mom.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Also, I'm feeling good. Okay, I'm at this point because I've hidden a lot of things. I'm not going to hide this part of myself, bearing myself to Christ. I do that. But in my head, God knows that I'm hurt. God knows this kind of guy. So clearly, he's going to come back and say, I'm Tanam. What are you putting yourself into? You know?
Yeah.
So I had that. But when I got onto the altar,
There's something else.
I was dealt with, you know? And it took days. And it's not like overnight.
Yeah.
I got there and I came out and I'm like, oh, yeah, you know? I went there, poured my heart, cried my heart, up until I could actually really hear him. And when he says it, it's almost as if, I did not hear him. He cannot. This cannot be God. But I continued going back there, you know, until I was like, all right.
I hear.
And I will obey.
Sure.
It's not going to be for me now. I'm going to do it for you.
For you.
If this is what you are saying is for me, then let me do it.
Sure. How sure were you guys that at that point, I would assume if it was me, I would think there's someone else again. There's like a third person, fourth person somewhere. So you never found out. I mean, during that two of you, there was nobody else again.
There was.
I don't know.
I just said, Uguti, a whole lot comes out.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, no, there was. No, I found out that guy is having a time of his life.
Oh, I thought when you said that, I thought after she told you, now you were finding out everything that she was doing with her. Like you found out, okay.
No,
No,
it's a
now
lot
I
of
was gone.
stories. It's a
Okay.
lot of stories, yeah. A
So
lot of stories.
you dumped him.
Yeah, no, I was gone. Now I was done. I was on a warpath. I didn't want
You
anything.
didn't pray?
No, I wasn't interested. I said, Jesus, wait here. Yeah. You know, so she did all of that and she walked that journey. But I was done.
How did you tell your parents? And did you guys go to his parents because of the pregnancy?
I told my parents, but I also told my parents that I'm not interested in anything. I told them that, listen, here's the situation, I'm pregnant. And I went through my pregnancy with them.
Did you think he was not going to choose you? Like, because you guys are together and you guys are together in the relationship, you are pregnant and then there's the other lady. Did you think that, or you just did not want to go on because there's another woman in his life?
No, I didn't want to get involved beyond the point where I realized he's even engaged, because that to me tells me that
he was engaged.
Yeah, that to me told me that no, he's made his choice, right? And he made his choice whether I was pregnant or not. He made his choice, and so I let it go. But I decided in letting it go, I'm going to fight him. I'm going to make his life miserable. But I didn't want him back. But I was gonna make his life miserable.
So you were very bitter.
Bitter, very.
Yeah.
Very. And I think I feel like we must validate women when they go through bitterness, right? That sometimes we say to women, oh, you're bitter, as if they're not supposed to be. When they have gone through pain, when someone has betrayed them. Of course they're supposed to be bitter. Of course they're supposed to be angry. Of course they're supposed to feel whatever it is that they are feeling, and it's okay, you know, because from that bitterness, because if we always invalidate women on some, oh, you're a bitter baby mama, you know, but we don't get to ask them, why are you bitter? What happened? What's hurting you? What about the situation has caused you to be bitter? So that you allow them a space to vent their bitterness, and then they can move on from there. But we always just want to say, when are you a bitter baby mama?
You know, you are so right. And I think for myself, I reached, yes, I'm not in good terms with my husband's baby mamas.
Yeah.
However, there's a point in my life, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, where I had to sit down and ask myself what that woman is going through. You know, I had to sit down. I was like, I'm in the marriage with my husband. We're raising our kids, and it's not easy still. You know, I just took it from there, and I started saying, I don't have to be bitter. Like, that person is actually in the, I want, like, maybe lack of a better word, in the worst situation than I am, and it's not fair.
Yes.
So that's how I was like, even though we're not talking, even though we don't like each other, but I would like to stop being angry or to what, I don't even know to what, you know, and give grace to that person and give them time and step out of the situation as well and let my husband handle it, you know.
And which is what she did. But, you know, I was not aware that that's what she was doing. But I
No, you guys are never aware that we're actually putting in the work in the background.
No, and now, because I'm a stepmom, I realize that, right?
So now you're a stepmom.
I'm a stepmom as well, right? So now I realize, and I have different conversations with my husband because of what I know, that if that woman says, I'm not sure, because she doesn't know me, right? If she says, I'm not comfortable with my child coming to your home because I do not know your wife, right?
Yeah.
You don't have then the right to label her and say she's bitter. Why can't she get over it? You know, she's still holding on to the fact that I married somebody else. No, she's speaking from a place of being a mom.
Yeah.
And I would be concerned if she wasn't speaking like that.
Yes.
If she was just saying, no, my child can go to your house and be with whatever woman that I don't know, what is this person doing,
100%.
what are their belief systems, etc. But if your baby mama is saying, listen, I need to know your wife, right? If I don't know your wife, or your wife and I need to have some sort of
A relationship.
It doesn't have to be like, you know, Lunga and I are now literally friends and prayer partners, etc. You can see how we are laughing with one another. I mean, our daughter is turning 15 on Saturday. We're all going to Gold Reef City to celebrate, etc. Right?
Okay.
But that's not where we started.
Yeah.
There was a time where we couldn't do that. If it's a celebration for the child's birthday, they have to do their own thing. We have to do our thing, you know. And I did not know that she was having certain conversations with her husband. I felt that her husband is acting a certain way towards me because of her, you know.
What role were you playing in the background?
At which point?
At a point where you were you're starting to accept the situation.
Okay. So what happened was, I agreed to marry the guy. That means I agree
To the child.
to the child. I can't just pick one and not pick one. In my agreement to the child, I knew that I am not going to be that stepmom that has the narrative of the society. I do not want that. I knew that this child, that means I am accepting her as my own.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we marry, the child is there, but then there's fights, there's there's a huge fight.
What are the fights about?
The fights are about everything and anything you can think of. The fights also include just what we were speaking about, that no, you are not going to come with her.
Yeah.
You know? And now my husband is now battling the fact, but I can't leave her out. This is my wife, you know? In as much as I can understand that, but I'm also having a feeling, no, I'm not going anywhere. This child is going to know me, you know? She whether she likes it or not, that's what I had in my head, that I, you know? And I was okay with not being okay with her, you know? Just as long, my intentions were with the child, not with her.
You know how that's I think where the I don't know, the miss what is at, where as a wife I would think I can be okay with my husband's child, however I'm not going to be okay with the mother. Or the mother saying, or the baby mama saying, my child will go to the husband's home, but then I don't like the stepmom. You know, it's a whole thing. Okay, cool. And then
Yeah, I get it. At that time, it's fight. It's fire. It's really hectic. It's really, really, really hectic. It's vulgar language. It's a swearing. It's the back and forth of this. No, I'm not gonna do this because she is saying this. You know. Up until I was like, you know what? And I think it's through God's grace as well. I loved my girl. When we were given the opportunity to meet her, we saw her. It was at a restaurant.
yeah.
Ne? And by God's grace, she agreed that we come and see the baby. And
How old
when
is the baby then?
the baby was a year and a couple of
Oh
months.
my God,
then.
such a small baby.
Yeah, she was beautiful. She was gorgeous, looking exactly like my husband.
Yes, and you're like, oh, how can I say no to this person?
No, how can I? You know, and at that moment and at that time, I also saw my husband's reaction to this child. You know, that it also brought up certain questions that I hope I am not the obstacle of my husband being or seeing or even feeling his true feelings regarding his children, you know? And I remember during that moment as we at the restaurant, my husband and I have unspoken conversations that, like, you know, and it was almost like, this is it. This is our child, you know? And we embraced that moment, and I embraced it with him. Also to give the assurance that I am okay, you know? So, and with that, I think men also at this point, they try to shield themselves a lot because they are shielding the wife, you know? They don't want to, I don't know why they do that, but they tend to do that, they do certain things after they've seen how comfortable you are, or if it's not comfortable for you, then they'd rather not and forget to, you know, but it's actually really about the child. So I did not want to be the hindrance to my husband's feelings, true feelings of how he really felt, because he did want his daughter. You know, he did want to spend time with him, you know, besides the fact that it's the right thing to do, he wanted it, you know. And after that, I was like, okay. I got to a stage where I was able to silence her.
To silence?
Her.
Her.
Yes. I silenced her from the messages, the texting, the fighting between me and her. And I silenced that, and I was like, I'm not going to take part of this, because God was already speaking to me regarding this, that you need to be at peace as well, you know? You need to be in harmony as well. And then I also understood that she doesn't know me, you know? So years go by. The only person that knows me now is this child.
So the child was now coming to your house.
Yeah, it escalated to that. So now she's coming over. I would sit with her and my children, and we would do Bible study.
Now you started having children as well.
Yeah, now I had a son at that time, but I'm also a baby mama. I already had my firstborn. Coming into the marriage. And then we had our son as well, who looked exactly like his sister. They call them twins.
They look
You know
so
what?
alike.
It's so crazy because it's so true. Like when I met my husband, his first child was 1, 2. And now when I look at my daughter, I almost feel like back then when I was taking care of, they look the same. And it breaks my heart because she's not there anymore. You know, I'm like,
It's a process.
it is.
Yeah. So here we are with this beautiful girl, and my son is there, and we recite the Bible verses. You know, I don't know her.
Yes.
And all I know is that through this child, she will know me.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
yes.
through this child, she will, in
The
hindsight,
teachings I'm
you know,
instilling.
yes, subtly, I'm introducing myself to her because this child is gonna speak of the word that she is getting here, right? And when she speaks to the word, the mother must know, in my head, I was saying, at least it must bring her comfort to say, or at least ke muzalwane shem. You know, something like that. Yes, you know.
Yes.
And that's what I did. Every time she'd come, and she was so interested in the Bible verses as well. So we would sit, recite the Bible verses. She goes home, and that's
the
that.
mom.
Yeah.
And she would come home and she would say these Bible verses. And then I'm like, so I'm looking at this child and I'm thinking, there's no way this is your dad.
No,
it's not your
I
dad.
know your dad.
I know your dad. He's not teaching you Bible studies.
Yes.
But I got to see her
Through.
But also in the things that she was saying, you know, children won't lie.
Yes.
They will tell you, oh, mama promises evil or whatever.
Yes.
You know, and she would just come home and I would ask her, how was your weekend? And I was actually fishing for how is that treating you, you know?
Yeah.
And she would speak about her in such a joyful way. Yeah. Oh, this, oh, and then we did this. Oh, we did makeup and we wore shoes, you know? And then she would recite these Bible verses. So my heart started melting because I was feeling, because I didn't know her. Remember, we didn't know each other. Yeah. We got to know each other for a brief moment. And
you were fake friends,
yes,
and then you were...
fake friendly. And then dropped a bomb and then, you know. So we get to know one another now. And through now my child, I see, okay, so this is, I didn't even know that she was Christian, right? So it's like, okay, she's Christian. She's teaching my child this. My child feels this way. Sometimes when my child comes back, she's plaited her nicely, you know. But I'm also in that...
in your feelings.
I'm like... She's plaited nicely, but I wonder what she put in my child's hair, you know, because paranoia runs deep, you know. But then I started melting, but I'm not melting visibly to them, right? To them, but but I'm melting and I can see this woman. And then I started speaking like to her when she would come. She'd say hi, like when they come to pick up the child or drop off the child. She'll say hi and I'll say hi. But and I would just love her grace, you know, because I felt that this woman is graceful in everything she does. You know, forget the big fights that we had, etc. But the reality is that I've seen this person more. I've seen the graceful person more. And so I started also... you know, submitting myself to God to say, God, now what must I do with this situation? There's a child to raise. There's still a little bit of heartbreak to deal with. There's all of these things that are mattering to me, you know. And one of the things I did, which I feel I really would, if this is a message I want to bring across to baby mamas, I would say respect people's marriages, right? Because that's one of the things that really changed us. So you remember when I was fighting, I wasn't respecting their marriage because they got married when my daughter was 6 months. So I kept fighting and I was like, I don't care whether you guys have gotten married, I will make your lives miserable, right? You will know that I'm here. And I remember one day God saying, marriage must be respected and honored by everyone, including baby mamas. You know, and I repented and I said, okay, I'm going to start respecting these people's marriage, you know. And I didn't, you know, that thing of baby mamas calling at night, oh, the child is sick, or whatever, you know. And I put boundaries around myself that I don't call them around a certain time, you know. And if I need something, I made that rule for myself that I'm going to speak to her when we started properly speaking.
Yeah.
That I would send her messages and
leave the husband
out of the way, because I felt like you must understand the dynamics of this kind of situation and not raise people's insecurities unnecessarily, right? So then I started communicating with her, and she would communicate then with her husband, and she would get back to me. And I think that's really how our relationship started to mend. You know, I think when she realized that I'm not out for her husband or anything like that. And besides not being out for her husband, I am actually respecting their marriage. You know, then even if it's a matter of finances, I'll speak to her. And I don't know if this works for everybody, but it worked for her and I, and we eventually turned our relationship around.
I think it would work for everyone. This is me now speaking for everyone. I think it would work for everyone because me being in that situation, I've realized that when I was, because I've decided to remove myself out of this completely. And because when two people are fighting, then you are just this third person that is like, you feel that you are fueling the fight. So I removed myself completely. However, I've realized that there is more that is being done when I'm involved. Like there is that oil that is there when I'm being involved than me saying my husband must just be a part of it and do everything. However, we're not there, but I can see that me being involved was much more easier than my husband doing it for himself. It's not just about the money. Like
there are things that her husband will probably never understand if I brought them to the forefront, but she will, because she's a woman, right? So because you're a woman, and not only that, you're a mother as well. So if I come to you with an issue concerning a child, you understand also from a motherly perspective. And so you know how to bring it across to your husband. And I thank God that, you know, that God helped me to understand that, to say, listen, if you want this thing to work, if you want your child to really grow up in peace, be at peace with this woman. And don't bother this woman's marriage and try and make things difficult for her, etc. Right? Reach out to her, have conversations, find out what kind of person she is, and obviously put certain boundaries. You know, we have a good co-parenting relationship, but we also have boundaries. Right? There's things that I don't necessarily talk to her about. There's things that she doesn't necessarily talk to me about, because she's still running her own household. I'm running my own household. But it's very important to understand those boundaries and put them in place. But I would say in relationships, it's women that have, I feel it's women that have the power.
Yes.
I really feel like men mostly, especially in marriages, they mainly execute the woman's desires, right?
100%.
So, and they follow their woman's desires. So I think it's foolish to be fighting this woman that has that much influence
over your baby daddy.
Yeah. Where, I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened for our daughter because they went via her, that I don't think necessarily would have happened if they went via him. 110%. He probably would have said, oh, no, you know, but she takes them and she says, okay, I get you. You know, and because she trusts my motives, she knows that I'm not doing this to mess her relationship up or her marriage up, you know. Yeah. And I mean, I did that before I even got married. So you can imagine, sometimes the dynamics are, she's still single, so what if, anything happens or what? So, but I mean, I think it's very important to just respect people's marriages. Just because you're a baby mama doesn't mean you've got the law over people's marriages. Yeah.
And for you, Mami, how did you now? What were your fears or insecurities around her and your husband, if you had any? And how did you manage to overcome that? Those.
To be honest, insecurities I didn't have anymore, you know, because I think way in the beginning, when he chose me, I mean, he could have chosen her as well, or any other, you know. So, but I think from being a woman, but they weren't around her. because I knew how he felt. Well, he had spoken. So I knew that also with the drama, I think that also came with her. He was like, you know. But I also know that I had to be constant and consistent in my approach to her. Because if she is dealing with a graceful person one day, then tomorrow she's dealing with this person who doesn't know what is what, and she won't even be able to have that platform to even say, okay, let me go via past this person, you know, because I'm this person who's just closed off. I'm this person who has not even regarded the child, you know. I like looking back at the story of Hannah and Penina, you know, how most of us are able to become the Hannahs ourselves, whilst we are going to God as Penina, you know. But we then change the story and become more Hannah. Hey, look at me, I'm the chosen one. Yeah, see what I have. I have the marriage, I have the children and all that. And we change without even realizing that you have now become a Hannah instead of a Penina, you know. What are you bringing to God?
Yeah.
How is my heart as I'm bringing it to God? So what I then have to relate to her is the consistency of me being this is who I am.
Yes.
And that is the same person I was with our daughter. That I'm not going to tiptoe around her, you know. I want my daughter, if ever she's going to relate to her mom, who I am, she must relate my true story of who I really am, which is that person I am with her or when I'm with my children.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how is the relationship between, when is the big moment where, did you guys have a big moment where you're like, girl, let's have some coffee, let's speak, we need to talk?
Not necessarily. See, what was happening at that time is that, before, like, as we are phasing into having the daughter come over with us, there was still a bit of feistiness and tension within that, because I remember my husband would call. When he then calls, Shakes, Miguel would switch off the phone and it's my turn to speak with the girl, right? So my husband would be like, hi, Shakes.
So,
you know?
I would.
And you know, with those kind of things, for you as a stepmom...
Wait. That's a moment. So you would speak.
So the dad would call.
Yes.
And I would put him on speaker and he would speak to his daughter. Hey, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then, so yes, mommy. So I would wait. I would tell him, mommy, hello. Then I'm like,
please tell me how you do. And then that side, mommy, it's a king.
And I did it a couple of times.
I would get so bored. I'd get so bored because I knew that it's the feistiness in her, you know.
What did you say?
I mean, it's obvious. She dropped the call.
And what did your husband say?
Now we know her character in a way.
Okay,
you know. So it was that. But I didn't stop that day.
Okay.
We would continue. That's why I'm speaking about consistency. You know, I could have. Also, when I say I was able to silence her,
yes.
I could see good. Okay, this is giving her reaction into some way. I silenced that. You know, I stopped. Then there was a day. Now, girl is growing up. Yeah. In as much as she's coming,
guys, these kids are growing. So in the midst of they're growing.
Listen,
so fast. So in the midst of her coming, I feel that no man, my relationship with Usheks is only based when she is here. I get it when she goes over. The phone they cut it. When it's me
I can't.
You know.
Yeah.
Then. I'm at work this other time, and it's resting so heavily in my heart. You know, I'm like, it's years now. I'm like, I'm gonna call this lady.
Yeah.
I tell my colleague, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call this lady. If she swears at me, it's fine. She'll swear, but I'm trusting that. And then my colleague, who was also a Christian at that time, says, no, man, Lunga, go pray about it. You know. I went and I prayed and I felt like, I'm not going to drag this any longer.
Let me do it.
So then I took the phone, and I called her. And I say, hi, how are you? This is Nokulunga. It's Shekina's mom.
You say it's Shekina's the nerve.
Yeah, no. This is who I am. I am her mom, right? Shekina knows me as her mom, right? This is how I'm going to introduce myself to her. Not to spite her or anything. But I wanted to quickly know, Askari, Nokulunga who? It's Nokulunga, Shekina's mom. And then she goes,
Imagine hearing another woman, I'm Money!
and then she goes, oh, hi, how are you? And I'm like, what? Yes, look, I'd like to speak to Shekina. You know, this is me now, wanting to have a relationship with Shekina outside of my husband. Yes. I didn't want him to be the one who's doing the calling without, then I have to be there then when I'm there, you know. So that is how I then, and I could tell from her, hi, how are you? That, okay, it has settled now. And then that was I think the break even point between me and her now starting to call each other.
Yeah, and
How
then
did you feel about the call?
she called at a time where I was really fine, but she didn't know that I was fine. I get we were not talking. So so I was yearning for our relationship to go to a different level, you know. But I also understood why it wasn't. I mean, there are things that I had done and said that were also preventing that whole thing. So when she called, it broke the ice. You know, and I was happy when she called. I was very happy. I remember what I was doing. I was watching TV and I was busy with Shekina's hair, you know, and it was actually a missed call. And then I called back. I think something like that happened. And then she then spoke to Shekina, and I saw my girl just blossoming, you know. And there are those kind of things, you know. Her consistency in how she parented our daughter it really settled me. You know, there's times where you feel like, I'm not sure about this woman and what she wants really with my child. Is she trying to use my child to score points with her husband or what's going on, you know? So, but by then, all of that was settled because I had seen her, this person really loves my child. And when you've seen that, beyond just being pure evil, and you stand and still fight people, I don't know what you call that. I think it's just being pure evil. Because I think when you over the person, the next thing that you want to know is, does this person love my child? And when you know that this person really loves my child and values my child and will look after my child the way she would look after her own children, then it settles a lot of questions. There's no need to fight anymore, you know. So she called at a time where there was really no need to fight anymore. And then they spoke, and after that, I knew something had broken. And so from that day, we were able to call one another, not really say much, right, because we were still reinitiating ourselves into a relationship. And then the big moment where you asked about, did we ever talk, you know, little girl, let's talk. It happened, and it didn't happen in a planned way. We were talking about the child, and then we then went into these dynamics, baby mama and stepmama, and we laughed at our journey, you know, this is what you used to do, and you know, and then we spoke about it all. I remember that conversation was like 2 hours and something, where we just spoke. This is how I felt. This is how you felt, and we gave each other the apologies that we needed to give one another, which was, I think, so critical. See, I'm tearing up again thinking about it. You know that. You know. So thank you. So those apologies happened on that call. I remember her saying to me, "I'm so sorry for everything that we put you through." You know that, and I think I didn't know that was the apology I needed to hear. You know, we were okay, but I didn't think that I needed the apology.
Yeah.
You know, and when she said that, and she apologized on not only on her behalf, on her husband's behalf, and on her family's behalf, her husband's family's behalf. You know, so.
And I think that is what I was saying, that, you know, if you sit down as a wife and you think about the baby mama, if you have a heart and you think about her,
yes, and you think about it being you,
yes,
in that position, you know. So
okay, welcome to a cry show. Welcome to a cry show.
You know, so when that happened, you must know, Hore. So she was the one that was doing the work of becoming close to me.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody else was still not angry, but they were standing a bit far off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And with good reason.
Yeah.
Also because of some of the things that I had done in my anger. So I remember us talking even about one day writing a book. But I don't think it was, thank you, babe. I don't think it was a thing that was serious then when we were talking about it. And we were like, hey, we must really tell these stories, you know, that God can really do anything for a person if the person is yielded. And then her dad passed on. And we went to the funeral with my husband. And because, I mean...
With your husband?
Yes. When my husband came into my life, all of that mess was already sorted out, right? So he got introduced into a very peaceful space, and they got to know him, and they like him, etc., you know? And even Chikina's dad loves my husband. They talk. They've got each other's numbers. Like that's our blended family now. And then we went to the funeral, and I remember her husband's mom, right? Remember, we had not met.
Chikena's grandmother.
Yes. So we had not met,
Yeah.
right? So we are meeting for the first time, and I'm just thinking,
I've been swearing at this woman's son.
I swore, no, not only this woman's son, at this woman.
Even to her.
I'm like, I saw this. Like, so I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, God, I know it's years ago and I'm no longer this person. But still, what is this woman remembering? You know, she saw me and she said, photocopy, Shakaina, you know, and she said, hi, my baby. And she hugged me. And I just cried. And she introduced me to her whole family, her sisters, her brothers. This is Shakina's mom, etc. You know, so, and I want to say, I don't know if this is possible for everybody, right? But I think if you work hand in hand, limudim, and you pray about these situations, and you allow the process, don't force things to happen overnight, right? You allow the process. God can make anything that is ugly this beautiful. Because now when people look at our blended family, it's so beautiful. And it's like, you know, both sister wives.
The sister wives, they're lying. They're actually sister wives.
Yeah.
I'm sure your husband, you know, you know what? They are being stressed in this whole us bickering. They become so stressed. And also it takes a strain on the marriage itself.
It does.
Yeah.
Hence, you're so right.
Yeah.
Hence, I had to silence it.
Yeah.
I had to silence a lot of things because you can imagine after coming from a call full of vulgar and swearing, and then now we have to deal with us. Already the mood has changed, right? So,
and I'm feeling like this because of your situation, your child, your baby mama. Yeah.
I remember as I was mending the relationship between me and her, my husband is on some, why are you doing this?
You say if baby mamas would sit down and tell them the stories,
they wouldn't believe it.
They wouldn't believe it.
Because I didn't think that this is what she was doing.
Yes.
I thought, in fact, she was doing the opposite. I thought she's blocking.
I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah. So, and I remember it really bothered him because I was even called into a meeting. Why are you doing this?
You are stressing yourself.
And I'm saying, I had no stress. Remember, I'm a woman of prayer, right? God is revealing certain things to me regarding her, you know? And this we share about years after, only to find out, whatever God was revealing to her was true about me, and what he was revealing to me about her is true.
But you could not communicate.
Yes, and I can't communicate that to him as well.
Yeah.
No, but I'm seeing these things. But I was like, look, the quickest thing I could say there is that we are here because of you, and I'm not doing this because of you. I'm doing this because of my girl, right? If she now needs to see a place where her mom and her stepmom are okay with each other and it makes her okay, then I'm for that.
Yes.
I'm for her.
Yes.
I'm not here for you. When you disappointed us years ago.
Kale.
And now we have to live through this. But even living, and I didn't have the exact words to tell him. You know? How do I explain that I got a revelation about her? He would think, Uguti, I'm still hooked on her, and I'm so I did certain things in silence and acted very loudly about them and regarding them. You know? So yeah.
So now that you guys are like this, what are the conversations that you have with your husband about her? Like, what is the thing now? Like, do you say, bring your phone, let me call Mama Shakaina, and like, what is now the conversation that you're having with your husband regarding her?
Let me say something.
Yeah.
Ne? I'm gonna answer that, and I hope I don't forget.
Yeah.
She spoke about boundaries, right? There are boundaries. She is now an apostle. She is actually our apostle as well.
Okay.
Right? Mine and my husband's apostle as well. She then gets a revelation about something, and she comes to me and she's like, oh, God is saying this regarding my husband. And I'm on some, girl, if God is speaking to you, you go to him, not me. You understand?
That is where the relationship is.
Yes, so that is where the relationship is, that I don't feel a certain way if she should call him, whether if it's regarding a relationship or whether if it's regarding Shekina, because our relationship is so healthy. It's okay. We've created a space where we are comfortable. We understand that we are comfortable. Whatever voice note she would probably send to him, I wouldn't be on some, now why is she sending him that voice note?
And not me.
We are comfortable. We're a family.
We are a family.
But even in that space, I'm very cognizant of not violating boundaries, you know, because I know boundaries protect all the time, you know. So he's said to me that he apologizes for what he did. You know, we've had that conversation where he said, listen, I apologize for what I did, and I apologized as well. And for most of his communication, he does it really with my husband. I think they just fell in friendship with one another.
Okay.
So he will they get each other, right? So I don't mind that. But then there are other things where he has to communicate with me directly. But it's like few and far in between, you know. But also, I would never put us, I made a decision that I would never put us in a position where I am not honoring her first, you know. So whatever it is, even if it has to go to him first, it goes to her. I've made that decision that it must go to her. And if he needs to be copied in, then he's copied in. But he's got then there's a double communication to her and to him. But I don't want to leave her out, you know.
What is the relationship between you and your husband's baby mama?
So...
and children or child.
Okay. So the relationship there is still taking. It's not at a place where I want it to be at.
Yeah.
But I also understand why. Because my husband did not do right.
Yeah.
You know, so, and there's a lot of things that I speak to him about to say, you need to do this thing right. And don't ever put yourself in a position where you think, how will I feel?
Yeah.
I was a baby mama. I understand. So those children must have their dad, you know. And if that woman is not comfortable, then we give her space and time to get to know me. Right.
How long have you been married for now?
We 6 years now.
Okay. And what is the relationship between you and the father of your child, your first child that you had before you got into the marriage?
I umfethu loyo.
Oh, wow.
Like pincham.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the relationship is good.
It's good. It's good. Like she said, when they came to my dad's funeral, she was there with her husband. My
there
baby
with-
daddy was
was
there as well. I remember at some point they were talking with my husband and they like greeting each other, hey, fist pumping, and they there and they talking. And then on the other side, it's her and my mother-in-law, and then this other girl comes to me and she says, wena Nokulunga, what have you done?
No, you must give us.
There was
Hey?
such an uproar about it that there's something that you did. There's no way that these two men
Can
are
be
getting
fist
along, and Kamo, these other two are getting along. And I'm like, if you know, yeah, I'm like, no, guys, can you not accept the realness that it is? You know?
And you know what? I'm glad that you guys are out there and spreading the word. And I'm not a lot of people know about you guys, but now they're gonna start knowing about you guys. Because DJ Zinhle does this thing, but like she's a big celebrity. You can get hold of her and ask her questions like we're asking you. And I'm so glad. Now we ran out of time. However, I think we've covered a lot, and everything also is in the book. Let's speak about when you guys started writing the book. Did you guys decide that, girl, let's write a book? And
We decided, let's write a book. It started out really, suggestion.
Yeah.
I think one day we must write a book. Then it became a thing, really, that, you know what? Because also people were asking us a lot, how do you guys do this thing? Like, is this thing really real? And you get tired of answering the same question to different people the time. So then we decided, let's write the book. And we wrote the book.
Is it out?
Yes, it's out, The Blended and the Beautiful. And we'll give you the details for people to order if they want to order.
Yes. Please give them now.
Oh, okay. So it's domingothandi@gmail.com, and the number to contact on WhatsApp 081 778 2628.
And we'll just also post obviously they can see the book here, but we'll just post the copy also here, and also put the numbers and the emails that they. So where does the money go to? To the husband, the father, the original.
Actually, it goes. Shekina was the one who was like, I need the profits of this because this book is about me.
She said that.
Okay.
But we're still spreading. We have a launch in Lesotho.
Wait.
Yeah, on the 28th of September.
Okay.
Yes.
My Lesotho people, please. But on social media, are you guys on social media?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, The Blended and the Beautiful, and I'm Shiloh Domingo on all my social platforms.
Okay. And you?
Ooh, I'm not
She's
big
not
on
much a social person.
Step mommy, you are busy step mommy.
No.
Okay. In closing, message to wives like myself that is in your situation, but still struggling in the woods.
I cannot emphasize this more than I have, and I feel like I'm becoming monotonous, but it's okay. God is intentional about your situation. There is a purpose for that situation that you are in. Be obedient and allow God to use you in His way, because His plans are far greater than what you can decide in your plans as well.
Nice. And you, Thandi, message to baby mamas and my husband's baby mamas.
Look, heal first, right? You can co-parent whilst you are healing. You don't have to heal, take time away from the child knowing they are dead, because when you are busy healing and you are busy manifesting. Heal first, right? But heal and also allow the child, because you've only got such a short period of time for your child to remain a child and be parented well by both you and the father of the child. But I also want to say there are other fathers that really don't want to come to the party. Don't subject your child to that kind of situation, right? If the father outright says, I don't want to have a relationship with this child, That's a different topic altogether. But if the father wants to have a child and there's a stepmom in the background, use the power of the stepmom. Really use it. I've seen it work for myself. But also I want to say to stepmoms, right, that there's a lot of power that women have in marriages. And we all know that who are married. We know that. We know that we are the ones that influence our husbands a lot, you know. Put boundaries in place, allow the process to happen, but be open to starting the conversation. Just start the conversation. Sometimes just reach out and say, hey, I'd like to start a conversation about how we can look after the child so that we don't, you know, continue on this war path. If they say no, they've said no, but you don't lose anything in trying. Yeah.
I'm convicted. My husband's baby mamas must expect my calls. I'm convicted.
And I'm going to call you and find out what did you
take the initiative?
Guys, okay, one baby mama is married, so I'll respect that.
Yeah.
But one is not married. I'll reach out to her. I'll honestly reach out to her. I'm really much. I've been convicted, but now when I have this conversation, I'm like, yeah. And I love the fact that you say we must bypass the husband because the husband will just cut you right there.
Of course.
You know? But anyway, guys, it's love and light from me. Another very, very, very fruitful conversation. And I'm actually going to upload this next Wednesday. It's keeping the line because it's so important and it needs to go out there. Thank you guys for your time. Happy parenting. One day I'll be here with my husband's baby mamas as well, you know, changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Guys, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.